I'm going to start by saying that I don't hate Bisect. No matter how annoyed with them I might be, I however am going to say if you are a returning customer to their service after being away for a while, it may be in your best interest to look elsewhere for server hosting services. And yes, I'm going to go over why I won't be using their services again anytime soon. However, I think some minor context will help you all understand my reasoning and my frustration. My brother and I both play Minecraft, and had decided to pay for a server in order to play on the same world. We chose Bisect for a handful of reasons, most importantly price and reliability. That second part is going to be very important later. We started paying monthly on the 14th of September 2020. For various reasons, mostly financial, we had to stop paying after September 2023. That's about 3 years of absolutely no serious problems occurring. Now, we recently decided to start said server back up, using the same service, and if I'm correct about this, the exact same tier of said service. However, we found the service quite reliable in the past, and Bisect offers a fairly sizable discount when paying for longer service periods. I also talked to Bisect support about the idea of reactivating their service, so they knew I was a returning customer, which will be important later. All this meant, though, that we thought it was safe to spring for the full year of service. It was not. To be blunt, despite having the same name, it was essentially not the same service, at least from my point of view. We were having multiple game-breaking problems, including a re-upload of a world taking a very long time. I went to sleep and woke up, and the files were still being transferred. These problems combined to mean during the first 4 days we got to play about 5 to 6 hours, spread over 2 days in all. There are 2 support ticket threads I want to read to you. They will be on screen as well. The first is a good chunk of why I decided to ask for a refund on the service, and the second is the actual refund ticket. I'm going to break these up into individual messages so I can occasionally point something out or maybe vent a little. I'll try to keep the latter to a minimum unless I think it's absolutely appropriate. So, the first ticket. We've had our server connection be lost multiple times in less than an hour or so. Can you tell me why and how to prevent it from happening again?
Hello, Returned. I don't currently see any server files in the file manager.
Yeah, I'm currently restoring a backup because of a, player incident that is unrelated to disconnection.
I see. Let me know once the files are back in. I will take a look at the issue then.
I think the reload is done.
Hi there, Returned. The server is online. Please let me know the next time you experience a connection loss.
Yeah, last night my player told me it was kicking them about every 10 minutes or so. Any idea why?
You are at 3 GB out of 3 GB of your RAM. That is the reason for the kick.
I'm fairly certain I had this same package last time, and that never happened back then.
I found the issue. You set the view distance to 30 and the simulation distance to 20. That will cause lots of performance issues.
What is a good setting for that isn't too low to be playable?
We recommend not going over 10 for each. Smiley face.
Yeah, that is not a lot. It's actually very little. The last time I had one of your servers, I had the view distance, it set to at least 20, and I had absolutely no problems. Why the change? Next one's still me? Okay, no. I just got booted when it was set to 7 each.
I am seeing no mention of you being kicked in the console, and the RAM usage is now completely fine.
So apparently there was no record of the server crashing. I don't know how that's possible. It happened less than 5 minutes ago, and again, why the change? Please note, folks, this is the second time I've asked this question.
What change are you referring to?
The last time I had one of your servers, I had a view distance, it set to at least 20 and had absolutely no problems. Why the change?
The old multi-craft panel did not have an out-of-memory killer. Our new panel now has an OOM killer when the threshold is hit.
Finally, we get to the actual problem. Huh?
Our servers previously ran on multi-craft, where there was no stop process for hitting the RAM limit. Now there are on our new panels.
By the way, this might, and probably is just me, but I found the old control panels far easier to learn and use. Also, this is part of why they are essentially a different service now. Is there any way to stop the crashes that this causes?
More RAM is the only way, but having the settings set so high server-side will cause lots of performance issues.
I shall remind everyone here that one of those out-of-memory crashes happened when both the view and simulation distance were set to 7. More RAM?
Correct. You would need to upgrade the package. Even large RAM servers struggle with that much view distance.
Again, same package I had previously, only it did not have this issue at the time. Now, my next message has perhaps an overabundance of capital words, however I do not believe that it should be construed in the manner that the support agent chose. Once again, your previous setup did not have these problems. Why the change?
We have switched to a new panel for easier user access and better features for you as a customer and us as a company. I would like to request that you do not speak rudely or I will promptly close the ticket.
The latter half of that message I found dubious, almost insulting, so I asked, "Please explain how I am being rude." The next part actually managed to kind of piss me off.
No need for me to do so. If you need any further assistance, feel free to reach out. I will gladly assist you in any troubleshooting you need.
This came off to me as one of two things. Either extremely patronizing, or this agent realized what he said, or at least the manner he said it in, was not appropriate. I believe it is necessary.
If you need further assistance with your server, I will gladly provide it. That is what support tickets are for.
At this point, I believe the agent immediately closed the ticket. An important note here. We paid for a year and had the service for only 4 days. The vast majority of those days we were unable to play on our server. That ticket was the final straw. I discussed it with my brother, and neither one of us was comfortable using this service or spending money on it, which turned out to be kind of a problem. And that's the end of the ticket. So, on to the refund ticket. I would like to cancel my subscription and receive a full refund, as I've only had this new version of your service for a few days, most of which was taken up in an attempt to re-upload files. And after the world was re-uploaded, your new setup has caused multiple problems that your support staff was unable to fix, none of which me or my players are willing to live with. Their response is rather dense.
Dear Returned, we have received your cancellation request and understand that you are interested in a refund. We're genuinely saddened to learn that your experience with Bisect hosting hasn't met your expectations. Our mission is to ensure all customers are entirely satisfied with our services, and we regret falling short of this in your case. Understanding your experience better helps us improve our services, so we kindly ask you to share more details about the issues you faced. Your feedback is invaluable to us in preventing similar situations in the future. In an attempt to turn things around, we'd like to offer you an additional week of hosting free of charge. During this period, we're dedicated to working closely with you to address any problems or concerns you've experienced. We're confident that we can enhance your experience and restore your satisfaction with our services. Regarding your request for a refund, we've reviewed your account, and based on the terms of our refund policy, it seems your purchase is ineligible for a refund. We understand this may not be the news you hoped for, and we sincerely apologize for any disappointment caused. However, we're eager to work with you to improve your experience and make the most out of the service you've purchased. Please reply to this email if you're willing to let us assist in resolving the issues you faced, or if you have any further questions or concerns. Regardless of the circumstances, our goal is to ensure your interactions with Bisect hosting are positive. We're looking forward to assisting you in the future.
This overly dense way of saying no actually managed to piss me off even more than the memory problems thread. Not eligible? I've had this service for a few days at best out of the 6 months I paid for. Are you really telling me after only a few days you are forcing me to keep the service? I should also point out we have only been able to play for about 2 of those days because of the server issues. Also, it was a year, not 6 months.
Unfortunately, we just have to adhere to our 3-day policy on refunds laid out here. With that in mind, we're also here to help with whatever issues comes up. You mentioned that you've been stumbling upon more problems with your server world. I'm very sorry for how poor the experience has been hosting with us this time around, and will do everything I can do to help make sure we can improve that going forward. I'd like to offer you a free week of compensation time added onto your subscription to help make up for the time you've lost trying to sort these issues out. If this would be alright with you, I can help take some of the extra time to handle whatever issues you're having directly. Could you please summarize what the continued issues you've been experiencing are so we can hopefully address those?
And that made and will make me even angrier because, as you're about to learn, he was either lying about the refund possibility or at the very least being fairly disingenuous, as far as I'm concerned at least. My next message is fairly direct and angry. I don't know why you would lie about your ability to give me a refund, and I'm not certain I want to. However, the only actual solution to this issue is a refund, especially after my recent treatment by your support staff. I do not know what changed between when I had your service originally and now, but it is not a good change. I'm going to ask again that you do the morally correct thing and refund the money I paid for this service, even if you have to prorate it for the days I've already used. Please understand, this is not an attack on you personally. I am simply not comfortable using this service as it has become and will likely remain for the foreseeable future.
As a one-time courtesy, we will extend to you an offer for a 50% refund. Daniel did not lie to you about his ability to refund you. Also, in the previous ticket, you were told the reason for the difference in how your server is functioning. Please adhere to reading our terms of service and FAQ if you have further questions.
Now, I didn't notice at the time, but if that oddly patronizing or condescending way of texting seems familiar, it's because he is the support agent from the previous ticket, which I find extremely unprofessional. The exact moment he realized he was one of my complaints, he should have handed the ticket to someone else. Also, he is offering a refund after the previous agent made it clear that was not possible. I paid for an entire year up front. Offering me a 50% refund is essentially legalized robbery.
I will offer you a refund for the last 11 months. Let me know when to proceed and your server will be terminated and the refund will be sent.
Once again, he is offering a refund nearly full this time when it was already made clear they cannot do that, which makes it even clearer to me that they were being, at best, disingenuous. What is the actual amount in regards to the 11 months that would be refunded? If my math is right, that would be about blank, correct?
That is correct.
Then please do so immediately, and I appreciate it.
In accordance with your request, we have issued a refund and terminated your service. Please be aware that it could take between 3 to 5 business days for the refund to appear in your original method of payment. We're here to help should you need any further assistance or have any additional questions.
Yeah, that 3 to 5 days thing is actually why I waited to make the video. I wanted to be sure no one on their end could get petty, as unlikely as I find that. Thank you. The next one is from a completely different support agent and only came through to the ticket around 6 hours later, at least if I'm reading that online military time converter correctly.
Dear Returned, we truly empathize with the frustration you've expressed at Bisect Hosting. We take immense pride in the quality of our services and the unflinching support we extend to our gaming community. Our dedicated support team stands ready to assist you with any challenges or problems you're experiencing 24/7, 365 days a year. If you have any questions or concerns at all, please do not hesitate to reach out to us.
That seems unlikely at this point. I am fully aware that to some people these exchanges may paint me in an overly aggressive light. I accept that. I tried to remain as calm as possible during these exchanges, however I was certainly frustrated enough to slip up occasionally. I apologize to my audience if any of that made you uncomfortable. I considered it important, however, to go over both tickets in full. Now, why make this video? Well, honestly, partially to vent, but mostly to warn people who are making a choice in regard to server hosting that Bisect is basically a different service almost altogether now. In the past, I never had any of the problems with them that I had on my recent stumble into their services. In the past, not that long ago honestly, they were reliable, inexpensive, and their support was incredibly helpful, even going so far as to help with things that were Minecraft related but not actually related to their services. They are now using a completely different hosting solution. Yeah, this is actually why I said them knowing I was a returning customer was kind of important. I should have definitely checked for any major changes, that was on me. However, they could have easily volunteered said information as well. So I asked Bisect what their current hosting solution is, and their answer was interesting. Hello. We are in fact the hosting solution itself. We do not use third-party vendors for our services. Thank you. This explained so much. After all, why pay someone else to do something well when you can do it yourself and have that something just not function as well? It also doesn't really explain the new memory limits, because I'm fairly sure that they had their own hardware even back in 2020. In fact, I asked them and their response was, "We are still using that same hardware style, but upgraded, of course." So this video is essentially just a warning to research the hosting services you choose, even if you've had said service in the past and it was very good at the time. It could have easily changed for the worse, and for your own sake and sanity, read their refund policies very carefully before you give them any money. This is especially the case for any multi-month or year-long commitments. While paying month-to-month for such services is usually slightly more expensive, it's also frankly much safer. If the service changes several months into a year-long plan, there is likely no chance of you receiving a refund for the service. Well, I guess that's all for now, so I'll just say thank you for listening to my inane ramblings.